Well, hello, it's Larry again, um, and we're going to talk about another mode. Um, we're going to talk about the Mixolydian mode in a second. But first, as before, I'd just like to go over things. Um, so let me just switch images here for a second. Okay, I think you can see that. Uh, so this is just a review of the notion of shapes. Again, if some of these terms aren't familiar with you, go back to lesson 1 and 2, and they'll come back to you. But the way I've been defining shapes for a mode or scale is the root note and then the steps of the subsequent notes of that scale in terms of either a whole step or a half step. A half step being a chromatic increment along the even chromatic scale, and a whole step being basically two half steps. So here is a picture of the shape of the major scale. And it starts out with the root note. In the case of the C major scale, it would be C, and then D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And to get there, you start with the root note, take a whole step, another whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, and that gets you to an octave above the root note, or the root octave, I call it. So that's that's the sort of the nature of the shape. And then we talked about the let's see here, the Dorian mode, and that shape looks like this: root, whole step, half step, whole, half whole. That's the Dorian mode, and then we discussed the Aeolian mode, and that's the root, then a whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. And if you remember, the Aeolian mode is the mode that's called that's also the minor scale. So, all right, I'm back. So now we're going to talk about the Mixolydian mode. And that mode, again, if you're someone who uses the white key scale as a way of remembering the shapes of the modes, it's the G Mixolydian mode, Mixolydian mode. I have to remember to say this correctly. It's the G Mixolydian mode, which which defines the shape. So now, for those who know the G major scale, which is it's very close to that with just the seventh note changed. But here's the Mixolydian mode. So root note, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. So let's translate that down to C. And as you can see, it's the seventh note is flatted, just like it was for the G scale. That's the C scale, and that's the C Mixolydian scale. So, what song can we? So, what song can we find that uses the Mixolydian mode? And it's this one. See if you. I'm sure you'll recognize this. Let me try that again. So that's the Norwegian wood, at least the first part of Norwegian wood. After that, the melody switches and it uses a minor scale, but that's in the Mixolydian scale. Another one that sort of uses the Mixolydian scale, I think, is tequila. Yeah. That's this is what happens when you do things on the fly. There it is. So that, and by the way, I think very often when you have a song where the chords go from the key chord to a whole step down chord, so here's C to B flat, you kind of naturally fall into the Mixolydian mode because Norwegian wood was the same way. So please forgive my clumsy fingers. So just to again review, if we go back here and take a look at the Mixolydian mode, it's the root, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. And okay, so that's it for now. We'll see you next time. I think next time what I'd like to do is talk about the chromatic scale a little bit, just so you have a sense of what that is. Because I think I used the term of even increments, and let's talk about what even means. All right, so it'll be a little the next little mini lesson will be a bit geeky, but I think it's important. Okay.